Today I just want to give you a couple of reminders about how the addendum for sale of other property by buyer and its kick-out provisions work. Clearly, a contract contingent on the sale of buyer's current residence is not very favorable to a seller. However, there are two viable reasons we may see the addendum attached to more purchase offers. First, the new contract requires a buyer who will be using proceeds from the sale of his current home for the down payment to disclose that fact to the seller. Since there is a promulgated form dealing with the issue of sale of buyer's current residence, and the law requires agents in Texas to use promulgated forms, a disclosure that some or all of the cash down payment is coming from the proceeds from a sale will necessarily be in the form of the addendum for sale of other property by buyer. Second, if the buyer submits an offer contingent on financing, the section of the third-party financing addendum covering buyer approval has a built-in sale contingency. Buyer approval is partially defined as lender's determination that the buyer has the assets, income, and credit history to qualify for the loan. If buyer's assets are tied up in the proceeds from the sale of a current residence, then buyer will have an out under buyer approval. It is incumbent on the seller then to verify if buyer approval is subject to obtaining the proceeds out of a sale. If it is, either the addendum is attached or seller rejects the offer. The reminders about this particular addendum that I want to share are: 1. The actual contingency is receipt of the proceeds. It is not enough just to have closed the sale. If proceeds are not received within the time required, the contract is subject to termination. Time is of the essence as to the deadlines in this addendum. Buyers need to close on the sale in time to make sure the proceeds are received by buyer within the contingency period. 2. To exercise what the industry calls the kick-out or knockout provision of the addendum, seller must accept another written offer to sell the property. This written acceptance must be in the form of a backup contract. Do not forget to accept it only in the position of a backup, because the kick-out or knockout provision is totally in the control of your first buyer, meaning buyer with the sale of other property contingency has the option to terminate the contract or waive the contingency. Irrespective of buyer's financial position, buyer can waive the contingency and the contract remains in full force and effect. If seller accepted the offer but did not accept it as a backup contract, the seller then has a problem. He has binding obligations to sell his property to two different sellers. I hope this has given you some valuable insight as to the use of the addendum for sale of other property by buyer. If you have additional questions, please reach out to me at tipoftheweek@allegiancetitle.com. We are here to be a resource to you and look forward to seeing you at the closing table. Thank you.